Hey you guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today we're headed out for another beautiful day on the water, chasing largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass. We've got clear, warm water. It should be a really fun day. The plan today is to power fish, but with small profiles because we're in really clear water. We've got things like the mega bass karashi, the jackal piku piku, small poppers, small jerk baits, an underspin, a variety of smaller baits. And then we've also got some bigger swim baits tied on just in case. But I think today will be a really fun day where we can go out, we can fish aggressively in clear water on light line with small profiles and have a lot of fun. Let's get to it. Go. Hey little buddy. He's not the biggest start in the world, but he is a start. There's some fish out here. That's the Vision 110 +1 Junior. Got this wind coming around this point. I thought I'd pick up a jerk bait. Feels like it'll work. Hopefully there's some bigger ones. We're about to find out. Look at that. Well, it just came out, but he had that thing down his throat head first. That corner hook caught on the way out. He had it. Let's see if we can get this out of you, my friend. There you go. I love spotted bass. They're so aggressive. We definitely zigged when we should have zagged. They are getting smaller. I ran to muddy water. So I ran upriver. There's some flow coming in. We had a storm roll through last night. I thought maybe I could find them stacked up on some of these edges feeding, which is exactly what that fish was. There's another one. They're on current. Oh, missed him. They're on these little current seams, but they seem to be tiny. Not good. Golly! Whoa, what a bite! That was a giant spotted bass. He just came completely out of the water to get the magdraft at the boat. Unbelievable. I'm fishing the upper end of the lake here. There's a ton of current. I don't know if you can see it rolling, but wow. That's the first fish I've seen up here, and it was big. That was probably a 4-pound spot. And he was coming hot. That was awesome. There we go. Nice fish. Oh, look at that spot. That is awesome. He's got a huge tail sticking out of his throat too. That was a hungry one right there. Beautiful fish. Smashed that 6-inch mag draft. Oh, oh. What is it about taking your phone out of your pocket that gets bites? No way. That was awesome. I almost missed that one because I lost focus. Nice fish. Let's keep casting. Oh, there we go, there we go. Might be a good one. Come here, buddy. Man, that is fun. That one, it's that mega bass spinnerbait. Another nice spotted bass. You know, I came out here today honestly thinking we were throwing tiny baits. Tiny stuff, clear water. And I started out in clear water, but I just could not get bit, you know? Occasionally a jerkbait bite. These fish, we had some weather roll through, and it clearly shut them down a lot more than I realized. Because these fish were up shallow. But that weather rolled through, we got a ton of rain. So I started working up lake, and that first fish was micro. I thought, maybe I made a wrong move again, but I'm gonna keep pushing, keep pushing. Current, this time of year, current makes sense. I mean, I've seen water temperatures today from 58 to 71. It's all over the place out here because there's so much water coming in. Some of it's coming out of way up in the mountains. That water's cold. Some of it's coming in from really shallow areas. That water's warm. I've seen zero visibility and I've seen crystal, but it's pretty obvious. I've finally found a section here where there's a ton of current blowing through and there's a stump row, and these nice spotted bass are setting up behind those stumps. Got a couple on the mag draft, and then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna tie on a spinnerbait and I'm gonna throw on a glide bait. I haven't even thrown the glide bait out there yet, but it seems like these fish should eat this stuff. It's getting fun now. Got him. That one knocked slack in the line on that spinnerbait. That is amazing. What a riot. Oh, he's got more with him. I wish I had another bait. Look at him. He had another one sitting right with him. Same exact size. One thing I like about this spinnerbait is that it's got these couple of long, thicker tails in here. And that allows me to throw this without a trailer swim bait. I don't even need a stinger hook. These spotted bass, a lot of times, they like to just hunt and kill. They're aggressive, they move quick, and they can be so aggressive that sometimes they'll just hit these baits with their mouth shut, seemingly just to kill them. But by going to this smaller spinnerbait and no trailer, just those couple strands floating back there, they key in on those strands and that hook is right in the middle. I don't even need a stinger hook. I'm able to roll that thing through here. It won't snag on anything because there's stumps and debris up here. It's not catching on anything, and I'm hooking all my bites. Got him. Man, that is fun. This is on the Pistol Pete glide bait. That's awesome. Was going with a combination of steady retrieving and fast twitching in the current, and he smoked it. Got him. Pick that mag draft back up. Took one cast. With these spotted bass, as soon as I realized this was going to be a thing, I sat down and tied on a couple of other baits, right? The spinnerbait and the glide bait. The reason why is spotted bass can be fickle and you want to keep them feeding. If they stop feeding, they tend to shut down really hard. So having a mix of baits where you can set one down, pick up the next, set it down, pick up the next, and keep bites happening, keep those fish going, will make a huge difference. Whether you're fishing murky current like I am today, or you're fishing crystal clear and 50 feet deep with a 2.8 Kitech or a Nico rig. Oh, I missed him. They are blasting this thing. Regardless of the situation, it's always wise with spotted bass to have multiple options so you can keep firing back with different baits and keep those fish biting for as long as possible. Gosh, this is fun. This day started out slow. I had that plan. I really thought it was going to work. I think if it had been 2 days ago, it would have worked great. I wanted to catch them on the karashi, the piku piku, little poppers, and these fish backed down a few feet. They did not want to come up near the surface, but they are feeding in this current. Oh, he's hit it twice. They are feeding, that's for sure. I just had to get down low enough to get to them. There's one. I had to make another switch to keep them going. I went to a 4-inch swammer on a Matt Allen swimbait head. Actually, I take that back. That is a 3/8 screwed up swimbait head with a 4-inch chartreuse and blue swammer on it. There we go. It's all about rotating baits. That was my first cast with the spinnerbait. Make a switch, catch a fish. Make a switch, catch a fish. Clockwork. Man, that's fun. Got him. Oh man. Got him. I looped around to make another pass through the same area. And it took 3 casts to pick off one more. Golly. That one about took the rod from me. He hit that spinnerbait so hard. Jeez, he's ripping. Oh, it's because it's a good one. That's a nice spotted bass right there. Oh, that's amazing. So much fun. Got him. Golly, that's fun. Hey, there's the first largemouth. Hey, buddy. He gulped it too. Awesome. He was up there in that darkest shadow. Just something a little bit different. At this point, I am literally river fishing. The water is about 1.5 to 3 feet deep. I can see bottom, and I'm throwing at every little stump, log, branch, rock. I'm pulling these fish out from behind them. This is so different than the day I planned on, but so much fun. A lot of you probably don't know, I am a closet spinnerbait fanatic. If I get on a spinnerbait bite, there's a couple of bites, a spinnerbait and a swimbait. If I realize I can catch fish on those, my day is over. Today they're biting both of them, which becomes a constant battle inside my head of what I should be doing. This is one of my all-time favorite ways to catch fish. It's just, it's a throwback to a simpler time, right? It's the beginnings of bass fishing. It's an old school technique and it still catches them. This is awesome. I grabbed a different spinnerbait. This is a Damiki TOT. A little bit more natural color as I'm getting into the clearer water. That was the first cast. That was awesome. I was running it over the tops of those branches, and he came and took that spinnerbait off the surface. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Now the Damiki, it doesn't have those long tails that mega bass has. So I put a cut down 4-inch swammer on the back. That helps them target right on that swim bait. We'll talk more about that at the end. Well, you think he wanted that? He got it too. Spotted bass on the magdraft. I'm just going back and forth between all these baits and having an absolute blast. How many times have I said that in the last 45 minutes? My goodness. There's our second largemouth of the day. They're definitely just mixed in with all these spotted bass. I just plain ran out of current to fish. It was getting skinnier and skinnier, and I was dodging more and more rocks and feeling like my luck was gonna run out at some point. So I bailed out of the current. We're back out on the main lake. Water's clear, probably 4 to 5 feet of visibility. I'm picking that Karashi back up, the original bait I was planning on throwing today in clear water. And I'm gonna see if I can't catch a fish or two on it to wrap this day up. What a get. I got an appropriately sized bass. That is one tiny spotted bass, and he smoked the Karashi. I don't care who you are, a giant bluegill on a light line is fun. He absolutely hammered that Karashi. Thanks, buddy. That is so much fun. My goal today was not to catch big ones. I wanted to come out with ultralight finesse tackle and catch a bunch of fish. We ended up catching them on a bunch of different power techniques. But this is one of my favorite baits to throw. That bait's just darting and twitching and working, sometimes on top, sometimes just under. Then you can stall it out. It's got a slow back sink, give it a little twitch, and they smash it. Just a really fun way to fish, and something that fish don't see very often. I don't anticipate that I'm gonna catch a monster in this pocket because it's shallow and I haven't seen any monsters back here, but it is just fun getting a few bonus bites before we call it a day. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. Today was awesome, absolutely awesome. We only got a couple bigger fish, but I could not care less. We caught piles of fish, we caught them fun ways. It was awesome. Today was all about adapting to the conditions. I intended to power fish today, but I wanted to fish tiny baits. The piku piku, the Karashi, some little top waters, and when I got out here, something changed. The fish were not up on the bank. They were not that shallow, and it just was not going to happen. So started poking around, got a couple little ones on the jerk bait, which told me they were out a little further, and then just started adapting. But when I found that big influx of water coming into the lake, I knew that was going to be the ticket. And it was, I mean, we caught so many fish between the spinnerbait, the 6-inch magdraft, the little swammer, that G-Rat glide. Unbelievable. The spinnerbait, I talked a little bit about it earlier, but I was so caught up in the fish catching that I'm not even sure I did a good job of explaining it. So I want to talk about it again briefly. I was talking about how I didn't need a trailer or a trailer hook for this spinnerbait. So it's got these long strands. And what I was trying to tell you is that spotted bass, they can get so aggressive, so mad, that they will just come in and punch a bait. And if you have a larger, like a full-size spinnerbait, a lot of times they're going to miss because they may come in not even with their mouth open. They may come in mouth shut and just hit it. So the bigger the object, the more likely they're not going to get a hook. Now you can put a stinger hook on it, but the downside is you're just that much more likely to snag it up. In the areas I was fishing, there were a lot of stumps, blown in wood, that sort of thing. So I didn't want that on there. I wanted to be as weedless as possible. Now you can also go this route, which I did once the water got clearer, where you add a swim bait to the back of that spinnerbait. And by doing that, you give them a target. They're more likely to eat just that part of the spinnerbait. That's what I was doing on the Damiki. But I wanted in the beginning the smallest possible profile where they would still target that hook. And that is that Megabass. That is a finesse style spinnerbait. It's still a heavy bait. It's a 1/2 ounce, but tiny blades, which allow me to go pretty quick. And then with that skirt material like that, again, I'm able to get away without a trailer or a swim bait, and the vast majority of them were getting it. I did not miss very many fish today, which was awesome. I still, at the end of the day, I committed to throwing the Karashi a little bit more. I was hoping some fish had moved up in warmer water. Caught a couple little ones, caught a bluegill on it, and I actually had a probably 4 to 5 pound largemouth come up and boil on it and just miss. And then she saw me and darted off. I work that bait so fast and so aggressive that sometimes they'll come up and miss, and they'll usually spin right around and swipe it again. But that one saw me and didn't take the second shot. But down in the video description, I'll link all the gear for you. You know what? One other thing, this is really important. At the start of this year, one of my goals, or one of the things I personally committed to, was finding multiple uses for rods. So I'm always playing with new gear. That's a given. Always trying everything I can get my hands on because I want to find those gems. But something that I feel would be really valuable for you is if when we find one of those perfect rods, we can identify some other uses for it. Because it's great to buy the baddest jerkbait rod there is, or the best jig rod I can find, but then you've got a dedicated rod unless we can identify some other really good options for that rod. So one of my personal goals this year is taking some of these rods, like that Megabass Orochi Braillist, my favorite jig rod, and finding other uses for it where it is also an excellent rod, so that it's not just a one task rod in your lineup. You can use it for multiple things. So today, that's the rod I brought to throw that magdraft, and it did great. I was very, very happy with it. I had it paired up to a Metanium, but the important thing is I had it paired up to a 7-to-1 reel, 65 pound braid to a 20 pound leader. Just slow rolling that thing. But slow rolling on a 7-to-1 is a whole different deal than slow rolling on a 5-to-1, right? So with the magdraft, it's all about finding that perfect speed where that bait's got that ideal wobble. Then you just let it do its thing. But that was one of the big things today, was identifying an extra use for that brailless. And then I was using this one a bunch too. This St. Croix, this is called the All-In, and I've been very impressed with this rod. I mean, it's a 7-1 medium heavy fast. It's about as universal of a rod as you are ever going to find. That's sort of a given, but it did an excellent, excellent job with the spinnerbait. And then the one other one, Shimano X-Pride, the 7.6 medium heavy. That medium heavy, again, is like a do-all, right? I can A-rig on that rod. I can throw smaller glides on that rod like we did today. And it does an excellent, excellent job. I really enjoy those medium heavies, especially longer medium heavies, for a lot of different techniques. So again, I'll link the exact gear that I was fishing with down in the video description for you, along with the baits, specific colors, that sort of thing. But today was awesome. I had an absolute ball. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.